Hi ladies, and thanks for joining me today. Today I'm going to be showing y'all how I did this design on my nails. And what I'm going to be using is two stamping plates. I'm going to be using this one, which is Bundle Monster 212, and I'm going to be using this image right here. And then I'm also going to be using Bundle Monster 210, and I'm going to be using this image. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I am going to take some white polish, and this is just by Milani, and it's white on the spot. And I am just going to be working off of this paper right here. So I'm going to put some white polish down. And using one of these makeup sponges, I'm just going to sponge on a white base. And not worrying about getting it on my finger, because I can just go back and clean that right up. Just like that. Then we're going to let that dry and add another coat. Alright, I've applied the second coat, and next I'm going in with a bright neon yellow. This one's by Clean Colors, and it's called Neon Yellow. And then I'm also going in with this Nina Ultra Pro, and I've had this on my nails before, and this is Punky Pink. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to start with the pink, and again I'm just going to use the scratch paper that's right here. Put a little bit out on the paper, and taking my sponge, I flipped it over now, and I'm just going to randomly sponge. Now the reason why we started with the white, of course, first is so these neon colors will really show up. So what I'm doing is I'm just sponging on some pink, just kind of randomly. Next, I'm going to get out this yellow. And you can use any colors you want. These are just the ones that I wanted to do. It kind of reminds me like of a tropical just a tropical scene. Let's see, I'm going to put a little bit more yellow out. I guess you could say like a tropical peacock is what it reminds me of. Now I'm going to take a little bit more pink. Taking the other edge, and we're going to concentrate some pink in a few areas. And this is just working as our background. There we go. Just like that. Now I'm going to let this dry, and I'm going to clean up the edges a little bit, and we'll be back with the next step. Okay, we're back, and we're starting first with plate 210. And like I said, we're going for this image right here. And now, your background does not have to be perfect, because it is just a background. You're not going to see it a whole lot. So what I'm going to be stamping with is Conad's Special Polish. And this one's in black gold. It doesn't say the name on it, but it is a really, it really does show up black, and then it has a little bit of a shimmer. Now, alternatives to this, if you do not have the Conad polishes, you can also use this Milani polish. It's called Black Swift. It works really good to stamp with. And also you can use this one by Wet n Wild Fast Dry, and it is called Ebony Hates Chris. So you can use both of those, and those are a acceptable substitute for these, and like I said, it stamps really well. Now what I'm going to be using is the bottom part of this image, so I'm carefully going through there and just painting that part of my image. Then you scrape it off, and then I'm going to pick it up with my stamper, and there it is. And then I'm going to roll it onto my thumb, just like that. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to clean off my plate and clean off my stamper a little bit. And because the thumb is much larger, of course, it's going to take a little bit extra. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the other part of this image because I want all the leaves kind of going in the same direction. I'm going to pick it up and then roll it onto the thumb, just like that. Now what I like to do, because of the fact that it doesn't go all the way sometimes, and just for a little cleanup, I'm going to drop some of that special polish right there. See if you can see me do this. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to extend these leaves down just like this and finish making the points. Just like that, just to kind of clean up the image a little bit. Next, I'm going to get out my other plate. Clean this one off real quick. I'm going to grab my other plate, which is Bundle Monsters plate 212. I'm going to clean it off. And we're going to be using this design right there. And this one I'm going to just cover the whole thing. Scrape it off. Pick up the image. And then I'm going to roll it onto the nail. Now this isn't going to cover the entire nail, and so what I'm going to do is actually stamp again. First, clean off my stamper, clean off my plate. Then I'm going to scrape it off. Pick up my image again, and this time I'm going to line it up like that and then press it on, so it kind of gives me a full image. Then we're just going to clean up the edges a little bit, and for cleanup I like to use a stiff brush. This one I made myself. I just took a regular paintbrush and I cut it off, and what I do is I dip it into the acetone, and this is what I use to get into the cuticle area to really clean it up. It works really well. And there we have it. Now I'm going to get out my acrylic paints. Okay, now I have out my acrylic paints, and what I've gotten out is a yellow, a red, a purple, orange, and 2 shades of blue. And they are all these apple barrel paints that you buy at Walmart. So that is what I'm using. I'm using a small brush. This is the size, it's the American Painter, and it's just a spotter. I got this at Michael's. And then I'm just using a small dotting tool. And I have a little cup of water. Now I have my blues over here. And what I'm going to do is I've dipped my brush into some water, and I'm mixing this light and the dark together to get kind of an in-between color. And that's what I'm going to be painting, is the inside of these leaves. Now with any stamping that you do, by hand painting in a few little details, it really does make it look much more intricate than if you just stamped the design. So I'm just going to go through and I'm going to paint the center of all these little, kind of like little leaves or feathers or whatever you want to call them. And what I'm probably going to do is end up putting 2 coats. So I'm going to finish that up and let it dry. And I'll be back. Alright, I've added a couple coats. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these colors right here and I'm going to fill in the dots. As you can see right there. And it doesn't have to be in any kind of, I don't know, a pattern. I'm just kind of dotting them on there. And to change colors in between, all I'm doing is just wiping it off on a paper towel. I'm not washing it or anything. Just going through and making dots. filling in the circles. Now we'll move to red. And you get some green, which I forgot to get out. Of course, this is way too much paint, but it's hard to squeeze just a little bitty amount out. Then I'm going to add some yellow. And it really does kind of remind me of, like, I don't know, a tropical peacock. Not a normal one, but if one went on vacation and got a tan or whatever. So this is my design. I'm going to let that dry completely. Now you want to let it dry completely, because if you don't, you're going to smear that acrylic paint. Okay, now that the paint is dry, I'm going to follow it up with just some sèche vite. And I'm going to put 2 layers, or at least 2 coats over it. Now when you're putting your top coat on a stamped design, you have to be really gentle with it or it will smear. So you don't want to press really hard with the brush, because if you do, it will smear. Always cap your free edge. And there you have it. Very simple design. Okay, and here is the finished design. There you go. I hope y'all like it, and I hope y'all give it a try. And as always, thanks for watching. Y'all have a wonderful day. Bye.